So far we've realized that the sanitary pipes we've got over here in this project could be divided into about 3 groups. They can either be soil or waste pipes, which are for the restroom or pantry areas, or these sanitary pipes could be for floor drains, and thirdly, they could be for the rainwater. Now, each one of these sanitary pipes are discharged differently. For example, the rainwater pipes are connected to several risers to go through the whole building, and as those risers go all the way down, and when they get to the ceiling of the -2nd floor, they connect to the surface water. We also saw that over in the riser diagram. Now we want to go see what happens to these sanitary pipes or the waste pipes that we've drawn. First, let's go take a look at the plan over in AutoCAD. And here we are, this is the -3rd floor. And here, as you can see, there are some other floor drains in this level. And also, you might notice that other than those pipes, we've also got some risers for the floor drains. So basically, the floor drain sanitary pipes are all collected from the top floor into this riser. So we've got the floor drains of this floor and the floor drain risers, which are collected from the upper levels. And all of they will be ending at this sump pit. And after that, by the help of the sump pit's pumps, the discharged water will be pumped and then lead to this pipe. You can see that this is a branch, and the same goes for the other pits where the water is pumped. And up here we've also got another sump pit where the discharged water will be pumped into this pipe, and all of them will be collected and come in this way. And another branch connects to this pipe, and then this water is connected to a riser that pushes the water up. You can also see here that the riser isn't going to be going further down, but it goes up with diameter 110. Now let's check in -2nd. We were on grid number 11. So we go to the second basement, grid 11, and here's the riser. So it's coming up to this level, and then the water that it contains will go over this way to connect to the surface water. There is also this sump pit over here, which is for the waste pipes. And as you can see here, there's this restroom area in the 3rd basement, the waste of which leads to this sump pit. And we've also got these risers, which are collecting the waste pipe from the upper levels. There's one, and here's another. And also from up here, we've also got a 3rd riser, and this one's also the 4th. And that just basically means that all these risers are connected to this sump pit. And after that, by using the pumps that are inside it, the collected water will be going this way. And also, the segment of said pipe is apparently UPVC. So that pipe goes all the way down here. Let's follow it and see where it leads. So when it gets here, another sump pit is connected to it, and the collected water goes here. Now, at this point, the pipe goes onto the ceiling of this level, and up to here, the pipes were on the floor. So then the ceiling pipe goes all the way here, and then connects to the city sewage. So now you understand better how these different system types are discharged. Now we're going to want to go ahead and model one of them. For example, I'm going to go over here and start from this one, from the sump pit, the one to which several floor drains are connected. And then we've got the floor drain risers, all of which will be collected in a UPVC pipe and going up. So I'm going to go over here to the model and find the sump pit first. Here it is. And now I'll get the pipe command PI. And first I'm going to have to select the pipe type. So for example, I'll select this polypropylene. And then for the system type, I'm going to have to select FD for floor drain. So we're going to select FD. And for the diameter, it requires 110. So I'll select 110 up here. And as for the middle elevation, we're not completely sure about it yet. This is the lowest level, and because of the many lengthy pipes we have here, it's not the same as the previous levels. So for now, I'm just going to put -300, and then we're going to check later to see if we need to lower or raise it. Now I'm going to be drawing from this pit towards the fixtures, the floor drains, or the risers. So the slope is going to have to be up by 1%. Now I'm going to go over here and click. Then I'm going to draw towards the left, another click here. And then I'm going to go up this way near the floor drain and another click. Now this error that we've got is because of the elbow type that we've got. So we're going to have to cancel this first, enable the pipe command, go to edit type, then edit. And as you can see here, we had disabled the single elbow and it was on none. So I'll choose all again, click OK and OK. Now let's redraw this pipe, right click, draw pipe, then go up at 45 degrees and click near the floor drain. Now I'm going to go down here, select this elbow, click on this plus sign to convert it to a T, and then I'm going to click on this T-fitting to select it, right click on this clip, draw pipe, and we're going to continue with diameter 110 and slope up. So first I'm going to draw a little bit of pipe to make enough room for an elbow to be placed. Click, then go down at a 45-degree angle, another click here, and then we're going to head straight down. Just continue all the way down to this floor drain. Now we're going to click here, then go down at 45 degrees and click near this floor drain. Now we also had another floor drain along the way, which is also connected to this pipe at a 45-degree angle. Now in case you think it's not clear enough here, you could also check that out in the CAD plan. And here it is. So we're going to be drawing this branch from this pipe. Therefore, we enable the inherit elevation and make sure the slope is up. Now click here, then go down at 45 degrees. Alright, so we're going to be drawing the rest of the pipe from here. So we're going to need to enable the inherit elevation again. Then one click here, go down at 45 degrees and click again. And then we're going to head straight down to here, click. And then it's going to be connected to the riser. So we're going to change directions at 45 degrees. And also remember that we're going to need another elbow for here so that it goes up. It doesn't seem to me like there's going to be enough room for that, so I'm just going to select this pipe and move it a little to the left in order to make enough room for the double elbows to be placed here and raise in the riser. We're just doing this out of caution. Now I'm going to go over here, get the pipe command again, PI, inherit elevation, then click, go down at 45 degrees, click again, and then we're going to go straight down to this riser and click. Okay, now let's check, and there doesn't seem to be any more branches. So now we could just create a section along this pipe, click and click. I'm going to also make this section a little tighter. Here's the clip. We're going to make this section tighter, then right click on it and go to view. So here we are in the lowest level. And as you can see, we've also got this TOS level here, which is actually the foundation of the building. And we've also got the FFL. There's this distance between those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this pipe and I'm going to bring it lower. So I'll use the arrow keys in the keyboard to bring it down. So this way this pipe is going to be going right above the foundation. And I'm going to also stretch the section further from the bottom. And as you can see here, this is the sump pit for which the opening has been created. Now let's head back to the floor plan. Now I can go ahead and connect the pipes to the floor drains. For that, first I could select this pipe, then go to edit type, then edit. And first I'm going to select none for this first two elbows so that I can use the double elbows from here on out. Click OK and OK. Now I'm going to right click on here, draw pipe, and make sure the slope is up, then click over here. Then I'm going to raise the elevation up to 0, then click apply twice. Let's do the same thing for the other ones as well. Here's this next floor drain. First I'll select the pipe, right click on it, select draw pipe, then draw to the axis of the floor drain, then raise it up to 0, then click apply twice. Now onto the next floor drain, we're going to right click on here, select draw pipe, then draw to the axis of the floor drain, raise it up to 0, then click apply twice. Now what about this riser here? First we're going to right click on this and draw pipe, and I could raise it again up to 0 or even a higher elevation because the riser is going to be going further up. So for example, I'll raise it up to 1500 or 1.5 meters, then click apply twice. Now also we could take this pipe and move it backwards because there is enough room. But actually, as for the exact location of this riser, that's going to be determined by what we've got in the upper levels. Now let's do the same thing here. Right-click Draw Pipe, then raise it up to 1500. Click Apply twice. Let's also move it backwards a little, like so, and we're just going to stop at where we see the plan drawing. Considering these columns and beams, it is best that we move the riser backwards a little and raise it to the other levels. Alright, so how can we connect these pipes to the pits? For that, we're going to need to pay more attention to the details. So right-click on here, Draw Pipe, then make sure the slope is down, and I'm going to draw a little further, and then draw straight down to draw this pipe inside the pit. There's also going to be some pumps over here, so then we're going to need to raise the pump back up so that the collected water can be pumped out of the pit to discharge. So there goes this part. Now we get to this discharge pipe, which is of the UPVC segment. For that, I'm going to head over to the BIM Objects website, and over there I'm going to search for UPVC pipe fittings. In the results, we can see several types of UPVC pipes, and if we scroll down a little bit, then we can see this one, Piping Systems PVC-U. So click on it, then go to this next page, then click on Download, and then you'll see that there are some Revit files related to Revit's different versions. We've got 2024 down to this version 2020. So I could just select one of them, but first I'll uncheck Select All, then check this 2024 version, then click on Download, and wait for the file to be downloaded. Now after you've downloaded your file, you're going to have to open it. So click Open, then go to the Downloads directory, select the file, then click Open. Now because the version I'm working with is 2025, that file is going to be upgraded from 2024 to my current version. So I'm going to have to also wait for this upgrading process to finish. So here's the upgraded file. Now I'm going to go over to the Properties palette, expand Views, then Floor Plans. Then I'll open one of those floor plans. Here we've only got level 1. Then I'm going to head to the Systems tab and click on the Pipe command. Now as you can see here, we've got several types of the PVC-U pipe types, and I could just take all of these pipe types and transfer them into my own project, or I could also ignore the ones that I don't need and only transfer the one I actually want. I'm just going to transfer all of them. So I need to have this downloaded file open as well as my own project, and then I'm going to go into my project's floor plan view, go up to the Manage tab, then I'm going to find and click on Transfer Project Standards, and then I'm going to have to select the file from which I'm going to be copying. In this dropdown, we will see the links that we've linked into our own project, as well as the new file we've opened. So we select that one. And now what do we want to transfer? First hit Check None, and then I'm going to scroll down to find Pipe Types, and then I'm going to check its box. This contains the pipe types that we saw in the Properties palette earlier, and now we're going to transfer those pipe types. So we're going to click OK and wait for this transferring process. Also, if you saw a message like this, just click OK or click on Override if you saw the option. So I'm going to click on Override here. And now let's get the pipe command, PI. And as you can see, all of the pipe types that we saw in the previous file are transferred here. Let me just close that downloaded file first because we no longer need it. Then I'm going to go back over here and look through the PVC pipes. And also remember that these pipes will be having pressure because we've got the pumps, so we need pressure pipes. For example, I'll select PN10, and also if we've got any details or descriptions for the plan, we're going to have to check that out to see exactly which pipe we need to use. So we chose PN10, and for the diameter it says 110, and over here we've only got to 100. So I'll just select that one in case this diameter value is for a different pipe type. But in the UPVC pipes, we've got 100. Now what do we do about the system type? For that, I'm just going to define a new one. So first I'll head into the Project Browser palette, expand Families, and under that I'm going to expand the Piping Systems. Now we're going to go onto the Sanitary one, right-click on it, select Duplicate, and that gives us Sanitary 2. Now right-click on that one, select Rename, and here I'm going to have to write the name I want for this system type. So I'm just going to write Discharge. then press enter. Then I'm going to right click on that again. Select type properties this time. And I'm going to want to assign a color to this pipe. So edit. And for example, I'm going to select this blue color. Click OK. OK and OK. Alright, now let's get the pipe command again, PI. And now we're going to change the system type to that discharge that we've just defined. Now for the middle elevation, again, we don't know the exact value we need to have. So for now, I'll just put -500. Then for the slope, I could just use the 0 slope, or I could make it slope up at a very low percentage. Now, why do we say slope 0? That's because the pipes contain pressure, because we've got pumps here. So there's going to be pressure in the pipe's waters. It's not like this water is going to be going down gravitationally for us to apply a slope. So slope 0, and we're going to click here, then go down at 45 degrees and click, and now we're going to go straight down all the way to get to the riser. So we're going to click here, then draw towards the riser at a 45-degree angle, click, and now we're going to have to raise this pipe. So I'm going to raise it to the elevation 1500, then click apply twice. We can always go back here later and see how much further we need to raise this pipe. But for now, we're going to go back over here because we also saw that there are some branches along the way of this pipe, which are coming in from different sump pits. We're going to draw those as well because there were some other pipes, and we're going to need to check their elevations for any interferences. So we get the pipe command PI, then enable inherit elevation, slope off. Now click, then go at a 45-degree angle, click again. And now as you can see, the axis for the start of the pipe was CAD's axis, and it couldn't identify the pipes. So let's hit Ctrl Z, pipe command again, inherit elevation. And this time I'm going to start from the edge of this pipe. Go up at 45 degrees and click. And now we've got the T-fitting. Then we're going to go all the way to the left and click here. And according to the plan, we're going to go up at 45 degrees and click on the pit. So that's that. And now let's check for other branches that are probably around here. And here's another one. So we're going to get the pipe command again, inherit elevation, then click on the edge of the pipe, go up at 45 degrees, and click on the pit. Now we also had another branch at the end of this line here. So we're going to select this elbow, click on the plus sign to convert it to a T, then click on the T fitting, select draw pipe. Then we're going to go all the way up to here and click. Again, we're going to go up at a 45-degree angle and click right inside the next pit. There we go. Now I'm going to also create a section over here to first check the elevation of this main pipe, and then I'm going to go over to this section to make sure there aren't any interferences between the pipes. Then I could also reposition them, raise or lower them to resolve those interferences. But for now, I'll place a 45-degree section on here. Then I'm going to make the section tighter, right click on it and go to view. Now as you can see here, we could lower this pipe even more and place it on the floor. There goes that one. And now I'm going to grab this section and move it down here where I think there's an interference, right click on it, then go to view. And here we are. We certainly have the interferences. So one thing I can do is I could raise these pipes and basically have them at a higher elevation, and also considering that they are sloped pipes, they can go higher. Or instead I could move this pipe above them. But anyway, I recommend that you reposition the sloped pipes because their slopes might save some interferences, and that also saves you from making drastic changes to the elevations. So if I move one of them up, all of them will go up because they're all connected to each other. And also that interference we had was at the ends. But again, there might be some pipes over here interfering with this pipe or any others. But for now, for this pipe, which is lengthier and doesn't have any slope, we try to keep it as close as possible to the floor. And instead of repositioning that, we raise some of these sloped pipes higher. Okay, so as for these pipes that we've raised, the farthest of them from the main pipe is this one, so its elevation needs to be checked. First, I'll create this 45-degree section along it. Then I'm going to also make the section tighter. Right-click on it and go to View. So as you can see, here's this pipe. And this is actually the highest elevation that we could have for the sanitary pipe. And that raise of elevation, fortunately, hasn't messed with anything, and they're correctly connected to the floor drain. Now let's see what happened over here. The pipe goes up to the upper levels. So we're going to have to create a section along this pipe. Click, and then we're going to check in the upper level to see which way this pipe needs to go. Now I'm going to make the section tighter. Right-click on it, then go to View. Let's stretch the section from the top. And here we're going to right-click and select Draw Pipe. Now we're going to draw all the way up to below the ceiling of the upper level. And now we're going to head into the -2nd floor to see how we should continue drawing this pipe. So we go to the -2nd floor plan. Here is grid 11. And here's this pipe coming up, which then goes along the ceiling and ends here to discharge. Now I could just rotate the section by 90 degrees so that its header is facing this way. Then right-click on it and go to View. Now we're going to go right here, right-click, Draw Pipe, and then we're going to draw to the left. And we could also select this pipe and raise it higher till it goes below this beam over here. Let's head back to the plan. And now we're going to double check the view range, VR. And then here you can see that from this current level, this associated level, the elements within the offset of 2500 are visible. But this pipe's in the ceiling, so we can't see it. Therefore, we're going to change this to level above, then change the offset to 0. So that's up to the ceiling of the current view, so click OK. And then here we're going to right-click, Draw Pipe. Then according to the plan, we're going to go down at 45 degrees, click, and then we're going to draw this way straight down, and then the pipe will lead to the surface water.